Hello and welcome to the Alaska Report. The last series that you saw from me introduced 10 young Alaskans, recent high school graduates that had joined me for the month of June. Well, this edition of the Alaska Report, we have 10 more young Alaskans from around the state. Hardworking young Alaskans that have, I think, received a behind-the-scenes glimpse of the United States Senate while they have worked alongside myself and my staff, and I had an opportunity to really see Washington, D.C. through a different lens. Our intern program here is unique in that we bring on just recently graduated high school students to come here to Washington before starting that next phase of their life, whether it's college or something else. But each has spent time shadowing me. They have helped my staff do research and various tasks around the office and really helped learn some of the Senate process. They've also been exploring our nation's capital and really gaining an appreciation of life here in this big city. And as their internship comes to an end, what we like to do is introduce them to you Alaskans. And so this is their opportunity to ask me questions, and I'm always happy to field those, but I also have an opportunity to ask each of you a question, and that is, as this internship is coming to an end, what has perhaps surprised you the most, or the thing that perhaps you didn't expect when you came to Washington as part of this internship? So we're going to have you do self-introductions. We will begin with you, Jessie, and ask your question. Tell me what your impression has been about Washington, D.C., and we'll go right up the line here. So you start off.
Hi, Senator. I'm Jessie Oni from Anchorage. And before I ask my question, I'd like to speak on behalf of all the interns and thank you for the opportunity of letting us work in your offices the past month, and also to give us a couple days to follow you through the Capitol. It was a tremendous experience.
Loved having you. You all know that.
My question for you today is, as you know, many of us are going off to college in just basically a couple weeks. So knowing what you know now, if you could go back and study one subject, what would that subject be?
For me, it would be a hard choice between history and English. And history, I think it's somewhat apparent. We learn so much from our past, and certainly as I think about the responsibilities that I have here in the United States Senate, I think that just a greater in-depth study of some of our nation's history, but also the world's history would certainly have been beneficial. And the English part of it is just because I love the English language. I love literature. I love the learning that comes with it. I majored in economics, and some would say, well, that's a great training ground for what we're doing here, but if I had to go back and do it all over again, or if I was able to go back, because I would love to, I think it would be history and or English. So now back to you. What's been your big surprise here?
I think my surprise would probably be how compassionate and engaged people are in the work that they do here. It's truly moving to see how much energy they put in every day for the task at hand.
That's great. There are a lot of really hard-working people. You've seen the hours that we keep. No slouching, but good to have you, Jessie. Casey.
Hi, Senator. My name is Casey Kasoori, and I'm from Fairbanks. And a recent Rutgers study shows that women are just as qualified as men to hold public office, but only about a third of girls my age think we'll ever be qualified to run. So I'm wondering what you think we could do to encourage women and girls to pursue public office.
Well, so much of the encouragement is just talking about it. That's important. I think sometimes you feel like you have to have a specific resume, you have to have majored in political science or some track. In fairness, what you really need to have is a passion to serve. And a certain conviction about your abilities to do just that. I think that there are many things that hold women back. Asking for the financial support to run a race is hard. It's hard for anybody, but I think it has been more difficult, at least in the past, for women to do. But I think we're clearly seeing that discrepancy or those differentials there coming together. So I think that is important. But so much of it is just encouragement, and I think it's important that there are role models, that young women, girls, look to other female leaders and say, well, if Lisa can do it, I can do it. And that is one part of the job that I embrace wholeheartedly, is being able to be a woman in higher office that girls can say, I could do that, because you can. I would encourage you.
Thank you. I think my biggest surprise here in DC was seeing the mutual respect that you and your staff have for each other and how much trust there is. And it's really nice to see that genuine Alaskan relationships can thrive even in DC. So, thank you.
We have some great Alaskans that serve back here in Washington, and I'm lucky, and the state is lucky that we have them. Thanks, Casey.
Hi, I'm Evan Ipok from Sitka, and my question for you today is, how have you managed to balance the need for natural preservation with the inherent want to develop oil infrastructure in Alaska?
I think we recognize we have extraordinary resources here in this state. You come from a part of the state where we have extraordinary timber bounty. You live in the Tongass National Forest. Up north, we have oil, we have coal, we have natural gas, we have resources that we are very blessed with. But we also have a land that is extraordinary in its beauty. Alaska draws so many people to it because they just want to see it. You are in one of the tourism strongholds down there in Southeast, the number of cruise ships that come up. People want to see the amazing natural beauty. I think our challenge, our responsibility, is that as we access our resources, whether it's the strength of our fisheries and ensuring that they're sustainably managed, whether it is harvesting our timber in a way that is also well and fairly managed. It extends to our oil resources. Most people don't have an opportunity to see how we have developed, whether it's Prudhoe Bay or in the fields further out. But our reality is that we have pushed ourselves to be environmental stewards at the same time that we're trying to utilize the technologies that allow us to access a resource that our economies are demanding. But it is a daily balancing. And I think those of you all have spent time in the Energy Committee learning about just exactly that, how we balance accessing the resources while at the same time preserving a level of stewardship and protection and care for the environment that Alaskans expect and rightfully demand. It's a good challenge, and it's one that keeps us on our toes every day. What's your big surprise?
So I would have to say that the biggest surprise that I've had while in DC would be the amount of time that we really get to spend, with different senators aside from you. So just the other day I got to spend 2 full subway rides with Senator Warren and, just discuss casual college plans. And it was really a humanizing and personable experience. So just that has been really amazing.
It's great. It's a reminder that senators are just people too.
Exactly.
So good. Glad you had that experience. Hannah?
Hi, Senator. My name is Hannah McHugh, and I'm from Anchorage. My question for you is, what is the most memorable experience you had while interning for Senator Ted Stevens?
Well, I had many memories. Like you, I shadowed Senator Stevens. I was a high school intern. We've modeled this program after what was in place in 1975, which was a long time ago. But it was such a great program then, you know, why mix it up? But I remember the shadowing part and following Senator Stephen around. He was a fast walker, and he was very to the point. You know, we got to get moving. We got to get moving. We don't have a lot of time. Let's go. And so I remember that part of the internship and just worrying that what happens if I can't keep up with him. My other memorable experience was getting into an elevator with Senator Ted Kennedy, and I had not had an opportunity to meet him, and kind of like your experience with Senator Warren, it's like, oh my goodness, I'm in the elevator with Senator Kennedy. He's legendary here, and I was speechless. I couldn't even introduce myself. To this day, and I told him when I came back and we were serving together, I told him about that experience, and he said, well, what did we say to one another? And I said, I couldn't say anything. I was floored. So he knocked me speechless, but that was a memorable experience. So what about yours?
I think I was pretty surprised by all the hustle and bustle that goes on in the Senate. It's pretty amazing. I know, like, your schedule changes a lot every day, and as well as the people in the office, I know they're going out to meetings and seeing hearings and stuff like that. So it's just pretty amazing to see everybody walks with a purpose. So
yeah. There was a reason Senator Stevens moved quickly. Yeah, you got to keep up. Good. Ron.
Hello, Senator. I'm Ron Meehan from Kenai. My question for you is, what do you see as the most important piece of legislation that you've worked on, and how has it impacted Alaska?
That's a tough one because there are so many. Like I mentioned, in the energy space, we're working on initiatives that I think are designed to broaden our energy policies, and that's quite significant. The healthcare initiatives, the education initiatives that we've been involved with, what we've been doing to advance interests within our communities to provide for greater help when it comes to suicide prevention. These are all very, very significant. But I probably go back to one of the earlier bills that I introduced and had signed into law, and that was a measure that helped kind of put the fire underneath the land conveyances that are owed to the state of Alaska. At statehood, we were made promises, our Native people were made promises subject under ANCSA. Our veterans were made promises to land conveyances that those promises, many have not yet been fulfilled. And when you think about the fact that as a state, been around for 50 plus years now, it's long past time that those promises were kept and delivered on. And so we're not done yet, we're still pushing it, but that one really goes to the heart of so much of who we are as Alaskans, our ability to have our lands and to be able to access those lands.
Thank you. I would say my biggest surprise so far since we've gotten here is just the level of interaction that we're able to have both within your office working with your staffers and with you on the job shadow days and outside of the office. I've made long-lasting friendships with many interns and staffers on the Hill, and also have gotten to see and in some cases meet political leaders that I really look up to, and it's been very inspiring.
Good. Hopefully these friendships that you've made in this past month are going to continue with you for many, many years to come. So great, Ron, thank you. Sam, let's go up to you.
Hello, Senator. My name is Samantha Juana, and I'm from Chukiak. And my question for you is, having been born and raised in Alaska and deciding to raise your own family there, what makes you proud to be an Alaskan?
This, again, is hard. Is it the land? Is it the people? I think it's a combination of both. I'll tell you, as I fly home, and you all know I do that pretty frequently, but as I fly home, I'm up to my eyeballs in homework, but when we start flying over Alaska, you can just feel it. And I say looking down on those mountains, it's like tonic for the eyes. You're tired, you've been sitting there for close to 10 hours, and the land and the majesty of it just fills you up and makes you whole. But it's not just the land, because I think we recognize that the people of Alaska are pretty special. And I know that people in other states probably say the same thing, but there is an independent spirit. There is a sense of neighborliness that I think we still see in our state, and a care for one another, and that makes me proud to be an Alaskan. It's a pretty extraordinary place. I can't imagine living anywhere else nor raising my family anywhere else. We're pretty blessed. What have you been surprised with?
I've been surprised by how interconnected, as interns, we were able to be on the Hill. Your staff took us under their wing, and we were involved in everything. It's very hands-on. There's nothing left to be seen. We are answering emails and listening to voicemails, and it's a very humbling experience to be so involved with Alaska in general, and being able to serve Alaskans and be here and be the face of Alaska. It's a great experience.
Right. That's well said, and I think sometimes you think, oh, I'm just an intern, but we incorporate you into the day-to-day, and the expectations are that you are a member of our professional staff, and you have all handled yourself exactly that way. I've been very proud of all of you. Brian.
Hi. Hi, Senator. My name's Bryan Ducek. I'm from Soldotna. My question for you is, what kind of things are you doing to incentivize young Alaskans to return back to Alaska if they're going to attend college out of state?
Well, if you're going to come back home, you want to come back because there's family there, because you love the place. The land is as special as it is, and the people are extraordinarily special. But you have to have a job. What you're learning outside, if you choose to go outside, you need to be able to bring that back home and be able to live in the community of your choice, whether it's Soldotna or Sitka or Fairbanks. So we need to have the jobs. Right now, things are tough back home. We're in a recession, and not my terminology, but that of the economists who are looking at where our state's economy is. Some of this is lower prices of oil, but we have other aspects that have impacted our economy in a negative way. So I take very, very seriously the need to ensure that we have a strong, healthy economy, and one where we're seeing job creation instead of out-migration. Because whether it's you or whether it's my sons who are just starting out their careers, I want you all to be able to come back home. And I want you to be able to be there and raise your families in the place where you want to be, because those jobs are there. So pretty much all that we do is focused on how we're going to make sure that it's a strong economy and that we're going to be able to have healthy families and healthy communities. It's a big task.
Thank you. And my biggest surprise since I've been here on the Hill is, growing up in Alaska, we get a negative perception of Washington, D.C. and how far away it is. But it's been very amazing to see how in touch especially your office and you are with Alaska, even though you're on the other side of the country. It's been kind of amazing to see that everybody in your office has connections to Alaska, or is from Alaska, or is Alaskan, and that you guys work every day for our interests in our hometown. So that's been a pleasant surprise and a really fun thing to work with, so thank you.
Well, remember that for when you get out of college, because these offices, your congressional delegation, these should be opportunities for young Alaskans to help shape that policy that helps advance our state.
Thank you, Senator. My name is Maddie Coe, and I'm from Palmer. And my question is, if you could summarize all your years of public service into one statement that defined Lisa Murkowski, what would you want that legacy to be?
I think I would like Alaskans to view my tenure in the Senate with a recognition that I am passionate about the people that I serve and the place that I call home. I don't think it's about a single issue. I think it really is, I would hope that that legacy is she really cares for us, because that's what gets me up in the morning every day. As I was telling Samantha, it's an extraordinary place with extraordinary people, and I am truly humbled and honored to be able to serve Alaska in this way. And I hope that Alaskans will recognize that I do it because I love Alaska and her people. Your surprise.
For me, I'd say the most surprising thing was coming and seeing a staff that was made up of all different types of people and interests, and seeing that they could come from their different backgrounds and passions and just work to make Alaska a better place, because that's what they were here to do.
Yeah. They do a great job. I think you saw that, and you helped contribute to that, so thank you.
A little bit.
Yes, you did. Kobe, our master gardener here.
Thank you, Senator. My name is Kobe Rizik, and I'm from Fairbanks. My question for you is, what do you believe is one issue as a U.S. Senator that you've made a visible difference on, and how have you made that difference?
Well, you all have been here at a very interesting time in the Senate, as we have gone back and forth and been engaged with health care, trying to deal with some very difficult issues, and obviously not consensus in an area that people feel very passionate and very emotional about. Healthcare is personal to all of us. And as you know, the outcome of the healthcare proposals that were laid down, none of them were successful, and we put that on pause while we now shift to an approach that allows for an open and a transparent committee process, one that allows for bipartisan participation, a full vetting of ideas, and I think something that will allow us to move forward with consensus positions in an area that is extraordinarily important. And I think that the role that I played in ensuring that we do take the time to get this right was an important one. Healthcare is not something that we just want to get, or healthcare reform is not something that we want to just get behind us, trying to cobble together sufficient votes to just get something. The substance of it matters, and I heard that daily from Alaskans. And so it's okay to take a little more time to get there. And that's where I think we have made a difference. And I know it's been disappointing, because there has been so much hard work that has gone into all aspects of trying to find the different approaches. And I respect that, absolutely respect it. But if we haven't reached consensus yet, it's okay to acknowledge that we haven't, and let's keep working to find that path. But I have long felt that it is important to make sure that we're listening to all the voices when we're talking about something as critical as healthcare. And having that committee process, having a bipartisan approach, I think is important. We'll have an opportunity to do just that.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. My surprise, I think, has been the fact that while people have mentioned we have an office that is full of staff with many different backgrounds, that all the work that is being done in that office is constituent-driven in one way or another. Whether it is our legislative staff looking at how policies affect Alaska, whether it's our press office communicating the work that's being done here, or whether it's you on the floor making a speech to your colleagues about how healthcare is a unique situation in Alaska, all of the work that's being done in this office is driven by the constituents. And I don't think that's something that the American people necessarily see enough on TV when it's the focus on, you know, sort of the drama and committee hearings. But really, and I've shadowed you, 80 to 90% of your day is sitting down with constituents and talking about their issues. So I appreciate that.
Yeah. Very, very good point, and an important one. Because sometimes we'll hear from constituents and say, does my voice really matter? If I make this phone call, if I participate in this meeting, does my voice matter? And I think it is important to have that affirmation that, yes, we're listening. So thank you for that. All right, Dawson, you are last up.
Thank you. My name is Dawson, and I'm from North Pole. My question for you is, throughout your service as a senator, you've rejected the notion that popular opinions and party lines come before the needs of Alaskans. How have you managed to maintain that approach over the years?
I think it goes back to the passion. If you're driven by the passion to serve the people that you represent, you have to take that honestly. And I don't just represent Republicans. And I don't just represent those that voted for me. I represent all Alaskans. I love going into the elementary schools and asking the kids the question, you know, who do you think my boss is? And they'll always say, oh, the president, or the governor, or, you know, whatever. I said, no, you are my boss. And they look at me. And they say, well, and I said, did any of you vote for me? No. And they laugh because they all know that they're 9 years old. And I said, it doesn't make any difference how old you are, whether you supported me or not. I work for the people of Alaska. And that's what needs to be the anchor, that needs to be the just the constant, is remembering who you work for. I don't work for the party. I don't work for the president. I work for the people of Alaska. And sometimes that's hard. Many times that's hard because there are external forces. Whether it's the media or whether it's the party or whether it's your own conference, there are pressures that would allow you to forget that would put you in a place where you say, well, it would just be easier if I went along with what everybody else is doing because this is that position. But if it doesn't fit with who you represent, why are we here if not to serve the people who sent us here? So we got to stay true to that.
Certainly, thank you. I'd say that I've been most surprised during my short time here by the camaraderie between both senators and their staff. It's truly amazing that despite ideological differences, that civil discourse is still possible, regardless of how it may be played up in the news every day, that everyone here is united around the cause of serving the people that they represent, as you so beautifully put. And it's really incredible to see that at the end of the day can prevail.
Thanks, Dawson. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think you can see why I am so extraordinarily proud of these young Alaskans. Just really proud of all of you. It has been a great summer for me. You need to know that you lift my spirits as we're walking through the halls and jostling with reporters. For me to be able to turn back to you all and say, well, what did you think about that one? Or what do you think we need? It has been wonderful for me, but you need to know how proud I am as an Alaskan of the young men and the young women that are coming out of our schools around the state. And I'm just really pleased that we're able to share it with our viewing public here as well. So I thank you for being with us on this second half of our intern special with the Alaska edition. Again, what you have seen here, in my view, is just the best that Alaska has with our young people, their willingness to participate, their willingness to contribute, and their enthusiasm to learn. So thank you for joining us on the Alaska Report. We look forward to you tuning in on another edition at a later date. Thank you so very much. Take care.